bought a tank and
If it gets into that, I was going to pass that.
Hi. How's it going?
I'm going to call the St. Clair County Board of Commissioners meeting to order. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Commissioner Samasco.
Present.
Commissioner Baldwin.
Here.
Commissioner Beeden.
Present.
Commissioner Trello.
Present.
Commissioner Rushing.
here.
Commissioner Vandebosch.
Here.
Commissioner Chairperson Bone.
Here. Item 4, seeing there's no additions, deletions, or changes, can I get an approval of the agenda?
So moved. Baldwin. Support.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed. Item 6, A and B.
At this time, I make a motion to approve and file the minutes for the April 18th, 24 commission meeting and the May 2nd, 24 standing committee meetings.
Support.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed. No proclamations. Item 8, consent agenda items A through F.
At this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve items 8A through 8F on the consent agenda. Support.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed. Reports of standing and special committees. I will start with Commissioner Samasco.
No report today.
Commissioner Baldwin.
None tonight.
Commissioner Beeden.
None.
Commissioner Vandebosch.
I don't have anything.
Commissioner Rushing.
None.
Commissioner Torello.
None.
And I'll take a none too, so. Citizens wishing to address the board. First one we've got is Robert Felix, County Finances.
Thank you, Jeff. Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Robert Felix. I have asked this board in person twice to provide the public with financial analysis of whether the landfill bioreactor was making or losing money for county residents. To my knowledge, this has not been done. So we took up the task. My dedicated team obtained over 100 FOIAs from the county and the state, and we have discovered why some individuals were so attached to a pile of garbage. It is being used as a piggy bank to fund other projects within the enterprise zone. Everything we have uncovered to date appears to be legal, but it certainly doesn't meet my idea of ethical practices, and the public is most likely unaware of the financial arrangements. Our group has determined through careful analysis that the bioreactor portion of the landfill in an income versus expense scenario lost conservatively $422,000 in 2022, and at least $475,000 in 2023, not including many of the extra expenses to contain the odors. This scenario takes into account the value of increased airspace from the more rapid waste decomposition, as well as differences in closing and post-closure costs. It appears that the bioreactor portion of the landfill has been operating at a loss since its inception. With 7 state violations for polluting the community of Smiths Creek and Kimball, a state enforcement action in progress, and a class action lawsuit, all of which may carry considerable costs, the bioreactor is looking more like a bad investment every day. I'm preparing a report on landfill and county finances for this board and the public, and will forward information as it becomes available. On another matter is my team investigated the flow of monies into and out of the various enterprise zones. Questions kept arising about finances for the Economic Development Alliance of St. Clair County. Now, an EDA can be a valuable player in a region's economy, and I understand how it works, but we were not able to see if this was true of the St. Clair County EDA, as they are not subject to FOIA requests, and they do not provide public disclosure of where finances go. I confirmed this with Dan Casey on telephone. The ADA receives over $300,000 in annual dues from St. Clair County taxpayers and has recently received ARPA funds from the county. I'm asking this board to require the EDA of St. Clair County to provide a published semi-annual statement and disclosure to the public of their financial activity, so the public can be part of the discussion of this use of their tax dollars and development in their community. Thank you.
Julian Ruck.
Julian Ruck, 750 15th Street, Port Huron. I'm here to talk about Polly's Place. I don't know if you guys have seen in the news recently, but after 3 years of struggle with the city of Port Huron, I've recently signed a deal where I signed over and sold 2 vacant lots that I owned in Harrison Point to the city for a housing action and to build, because they're buildable lots. And I've been signed to a 10-year, $1 per year lease to vacant lots on the south side of Port Huron. At the very end of short 27th Street, just off Nern, in between public housing and industrial. It took a while, a long while, even when we first began negotiating how to get there. But I do feel confident that James Freed and I kind of came to terms and understanding that this is a good space to start over, which is kind of challenging because Polly's Place is built on permaculture, soil building principles. So we spent 3 years building this space up. Thankfully, the city has agreed to move 100 yards of that material and that really great soil to the new space. It's gonna kind of give, for the first time in this 4-year journey, to end food insecurity permanently as soon as possible in this community. It's the first time there's been any kind of true alliance with the city. And I do believe the turning point came when the true economics of the situation were considered. Commissioner Samasco, you're a food grower. You understand seed to produce to added value product is an ROI that you simply cannot find in stocks, in Google shares. You cannot turn a 1 penny seed into a $2 head of lettuce, a 200x increase in 60 days with anything else. So in this space, I'm gonna hit the ground running. And what some of you may or may not know is outside of this community, I have had great success. So much so that literally tens of thousands of people around the country in different communities are well aware of me and what I do. So very soon, I'm gonna be inoculating that success into this new space in a way that we have not been able to do up until now. Port Huron and its crime and poverty rates are bringing the entire county down. If you can work with me at this new Polly's Place with your connections as county commissioners, we can start at the very bottom of the community and lift everyone up.
Eileen Tesh.
Eileen Tesh, and I wanted to talk about county finances. I'm sure that most of you are aware of a class action suit that was recently filed against the St. Clair County Sheriff, Matt King, in March. It's a class action lawsuit alleging that 2 Michigan sheriffs colluded with third parties to end in-person jail visits and charge families exorbitant rates for phone calls and video chats. According to the lawsuit, the sheriffs received kickbacks from these third-party telecommunications company. This is the headlines. Children sue Michigan sheriffs, 2 biggest jail telecommunication companies, and billionaire Tom Gores, asserting right to hug their jailed parents. And for the record, Tom Gores is the owner of the telecommunications company that is currently contracted with the St. Clair County Sheriff. All that being said, what was most shocking in this lawsuit are the alleged collusion and kickbacks of this operation. The complaint specifically claims that for years, Sheriff Matt King and Gores have worked together and negotiated a contract to maximize revenues once the jail ended in-person visits. In 2017, the telecommunications company paid St. Clair County $154,000 in kickbacks or commissions, according to the suit. By 2022, the revenue from jail calls had reached nearly $500,000. What was disturbing also is they were able to secure emails between the jail administrator and a county, they didn't say who it was, the county accountant. And I will be doing a special report on that. My point is that I understand the Sheriff's Department is not accountable. I've heard it over and over. Nothing the commissioners can do to hold Sheriff Matt King and his office accountable. But obviously, we got a problem here. We have another lawsuit involving an inmate that was left on the floor for 3 days. There's got to be something done to hold the sheriff's office accountable, and I understand that he is now asking for an increase in his budget. Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna move on to unfinished business. Dave, you wanted to talk a little bit about, I guess, some billboards. So I've got Liz King in attendance. I'm sorry, Doc, I don't know what your name is, and Dr. Nevin. And if you guys want to come up here and maybe if there's any questions. So David?
Yeah, if you want, Liz, you can start first, and then you know most of my questions, and I'll follow what you tell us.
Right, thank you. So I just prepared, I was asked to come and give an update, so I prepared some statements here, I think, kind of summarizing these emails, and then we can go ahead with questions after if there's further from that. So for those of you who don't know me, I am Liz King. I'm the Director and Health Officer at St. Clair County Health Department. And if you're not aware, I think it's important in this discussion just to remember that I am a proud registered nurse of 25 years, more importantly, public health nurse here in St. Clair County for 2 decades, during which time much of my career was dedicated to communicable disease, including investigation prevention, outbreak control, as well as immunizations as a supervisor. I say this hopefully to reassure you to my level of experience as it relates to funding, budgets, staffing, community engagement, and simply the tenets of public health like equity. The reason I love public health and I've stayed here is that public health is for every community member, and public health advocates or is the voice many times for our most marginalized groups who need support as they experience health consequences, many times disproportionately compared to overall population, and many times due to stigma. That's important in the context as I answer these questions, and to keep, I think, front and center as I answer why decisions were made. I ask you to see this through a public health lens, as I have seen your comments, and I see them through your lens as well, and your constituents who have questions. I was asked to provide this update after kind of a trace back of public comments and emails, I think, on our billboard campaign that came through Commissioner Torello first. The campaign was about the health department's presence at the Blue Water Pride Festival on June 30th in downtown Port Huron this year, where the health department staff are scheduled to man a table of outreach materials and administer vaccines. These comments and questions, like I said, were made to Commissioner Torello, were then emailed to me, and then communication just ensued from there. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to come and speak today, answer questions, because a lot of times this gets lost in translation in emails, and it's good to have communication directly. Also, given the opportunity to showcase the great work I think that our staff does, I'm going to take advantage of that. When you give me the opportunity to give an update, you're going to get an update. So thank you. So this event in 2003 saw over 1,200 people. It's anticipated to be even larger this year, according to Dr. Amanda Hurtubise. Dr. Hurtubise describes the event as family-friendly in an email, including live local music, arts and crafts, vendors, food trucks, and community outreach. And I believe there are other, over 25 vendors going to be there, some other county entities as well. So the commissioner's questions, I think, in the emails kind of boil down to funding, content, and the support of private or nonprofit agencies. So I see, and I think my staff, as I talk to our leadership group, this not as support of a particular agency or event, but support of public health, which is for every community member, regardless of political affiliation, gender, race, or lifestyle. Attending community events is a way to engage community members and has been done historically throughout my career. We call this meeting people where they're at, and offers a more flexible model of care. Public health is great at this. This approach builds trust in something we know all too well, that the public health, we need post-COVID. We need to build that trust back. Traditional models in which patients go into a doctor's office during work hours don't always work for everyone. At different times, if funding allows, promoting our presence at an event via billboards or maybe social media boosts has been done, and it drives individuals to the event, improving the outcome. Never is funding given directly to an agency. This is not allowable. And events that health department services are not offered at are not boosted, and funds are never used for. Outcomes are measured in engagements with individuals, not just vaccines administered. Authentic engagement may lead to appointments, testing, understanding our services. Public health is about prevention and wellness at its core. This is most times not measurable. The disease you didn't get, the food that was safe to eat, the beaches that stayed open. And some events that we attend maybe annually or in the past where similar things have been done is like the Community Resource Fair, the CMH Recovery Summit, the Community Baby Shower, the Council on Aging Senior Health Fair, Blue Water Immunization Partnership Vaccine Clinics, the St. Clair County Better Together Vaccine Clinics, and then monthly, my staff have stops or days at Harbor Impact and Odyssey House. So in question, there were 6 what we call static billboards running in various locations and 2 flights. The first one from 429 to 526, which was flight 1. The second flight at different locations, 527 to 623, leading up to the event June 30th. The total cost for each flight is $2,790. Frequently, we use billboards. It allows a strong visual effect. Like the Recovery Summit that I talked about previously, organized by CMH, we did support some billboards for that event in which our health educators conducted breakout sessions, and then I sat on a panel discussion with other community leaders. The decisions to utilize billboards are typically generated in the nursing division or at times health education. There's no policy specific to this. Internal processes allow the division directors to sign off on purchase order requests, artwork, and facilitate contracts with county administration. The content is also approved at the division director's level, as I see them as the subject matter expert. Financially, total costs for the boards were paid by health department funds out of what is called ELC funds, or Epi and Lab Capacity, which come directly from MDHHS. These funds have been given annually to the health department from MDHHS since probably 2020 during COVID. Now it has a broader use under the emerging threat contract that we have, meaning we can utilize them on disease and outbreak prevention efforts. So they've expanded what we can use these for. These funds are approved to be used on communications, marketing. I'll remind everyone that the health department goes through rigorous audits of our funds. We have multiple layers of approvals. I also have to report back how these funds are utilized to MDHHS, and there's been no issue. In fact, we're encouraged to be creative in their use. Commissioner Rushing, you posed some questions. I think how many vaccines have been administered since the start of the billboards, and how many vaccines the previous 3 months prior to the billboards for comparison. As the event hasn't taken place yet, of course, I can't speak to that. However, in 2023, a total of 436 vaccines were administered at community events and outside the walls of our building. St. Clair County is one of the lowest vaccinated counties in Michigan. Again, I don't see a return on investment as defined by A divided by B equals C. We're not private, we're not fee for service. We see success as client engagement, awareness, outreach, or reduction in vaccine preventable diseases, HIV, or STI cases. So in conclusion, the decision to be at events in the community are driven solely by providing services, promoting wellness, preventing disease and outbreaks, especially in groups disproportionately represented in the uptake of services and made through a public health lens. Different, again, from all of yours, but again, respectfully, I hear you, I hear your constituents and what they're saying. So I'm happy to take any questions.
Commissioner Rushing.
I'll easily start. You gave the count of the billboards. You also gave the total cost. And if I heard you correctly, $2,970 for each, total of $5,940?
2790, 2,790.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is that total, Liz, for both
Per
flights?
flight.
Per flight?
Per flight, total 5,580.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I have concerns with what's on the billboards because it's addressing something that I do not support. I believe anybody can make their own personal choices in their lifestyles, but I don't believe that we should be using tax dollars to have push a festival for a set group, because I could easily say, let's say the atheist wanted to have the same thing from the health department, or the Catholic Church, or the Baptist Church, which I
Right.
go to a Baptist
Which
church.
we've been to Baptist church and churches to give vaccines as well.
Well, I am concerned with the tax dollars that are being spent on this specific 501c. They don't have a long history, and we've had, well, I'm sure you're around when the previous mayor of Fort Huron got in a little bit of trouble. And I think he's still, I don't know if he's still locked away or not, but that's been a while ago. Huh?
That's
Yeah,
not at all
I'm not
related
sure
to
of that
this.
story, but.
What?
That's not at all related to this.
It is when we are taking money, and if you want to get, I'm going to give my viewpoint, my concerns, and she's going to answer them. I don't want this to be adversarial at all, but if you want to, I'll make it so.
It's up to you, Commissioner Rushing.
Oh, it's yours. You're going to question me, then I'm going to fire back at you. So I have
Okay.
concerns with what we're spending money on. And you said that a marginalized group. So you're picking this group of the alleys because they're marginalized.
The LGBTQ community.
How are they marginalized?
They typically don't, well, the numbers of vaccine uptake. So we know only 42% of people in that group actually have their vaccines administered or seek out the services within those four walls, because a lot of times they don't feel comfortable coming in. So what we do is we like to go and we just like to offer it there if they're comfortable, and then if not, make sure they know that we're a safe place to come into.
Okay.
A lot of times those behaviors or those lifestyles, they're not discussed. They're not discussed at their private providers, and so we want to make sure they have the option to be vaccinated
Well,
or be tested. Let's not forget, we also offer STI testing and HIV testing.
well, every resident of St. Clair County has that service if they want to look you up. So on that specific issue, I think by putting a festival and the funding of $5,500 for easy math to promote a festival that they're getting free advertising, I think you're going to increase a marginalized group at taxpayers' dollars. And I don't like that reflection on me. So I talked to you about my concerns with it. And I wouldn't want it to happen again. It may, but I wouldn't support it. And I would almost want them taken down because I have issues with it because it's a reflection of my character that these are up on billboards throughout the county. And then I have people asking me, do you support this? I didn't even know about it. And you and I talked about that also. And I don't want to get into micromanaging. I don't think that's a good idea for us to do. It's not, no. I wouldn't do that for any department. And you are a department head. You do report to this board, unlike elected officials. So, but I'm very concerned with this, and the time frame is this going to end at the end of June or the 6/23? What you said?
Maybe it was 6/27. 6/23, yep.
Okay. Because the time frame, and I know you already paid for them, and you cost additional costs to take them down. I'm concerned about anything in the future. And not that I need a heads up on everything that I don't want a heads up on everything, but on issues that potentially could come here, and I got to answer to 23,000 residents, and I'm exaggerating, of course, but that's each one of the county commissioners have 23,000 within the county that we report to. So I can't give a good answer why we're spending tax dollars to a 501c that.
Well, again, I guess my answer is that those tax dollars, like we do to these other events, are for services, right? It's that we're offering services. I know the other side of it, and when you pointed that out, I can see where you're coming from, that it looks like it's supporting the event. But we are supporting the vaccination. We're trying to immunize our community. We're trying to get people in for testing. So that's why I'm saying from a public health lens. Same with the Recovery Summit, right? We put up billboards. When we're talking about recovery, harm reduction, again, that's another subject I know is difficult, but.
Well, that's the second part. Do you have any employees that go to alleys, like you said earlier, you try to meet them individually, and they're not giving you the response? So now we're giving them free advertising for activity that I think should be made for each individual person. If that's what you want to do, I don't support it. And I'm very vocal about that, and I don't think we should support it as a county using tax dollars for it. So hopefully we'll have some consideration in the future. The employees and time that you have going to this, is that 2 hours a week? 2 employees? Is it 1 employee?
To the event?
Yeah, no, to alleys. You
To the
stated-
Ally Center?
Yes.
Once a quarter. Thank you, Amy.
I-
Once a quarter,
Okay.
so they probably spend part of a day there. Yep, having a presence, just, again,
Minimal cost. They still
Oh,
get
yeah.
Okay. But they do have individual with your health department, that some representative from your health department does go there?
once a quarter, 4 times a year.
Okay. And
As we do, so you're aware, to other agencies too, like BW Rec.
Yep.
So it's not just them. There are other places where we place individuals, to help in.
Well, you're helping the entire
Improve
county.
access.
And I don't have an issue with that. I don't have an issue with you sending an employee there to address this. That's still taxpayers' dollars, but you are addressing health concerns for all residents of St. Clair County, and they are residents of St. Clair County. I would really hope that this doesn't happen again, that we're giving them free funding to put on a festival, because I think you're going to put a diminishing effect on our children that attend these, because prior to this, they put out an ad that the future of drag at this location. After the board voted 4-3 to give them $10,000 roughly for furniture and approvals of their building, they came out, now the future of drag. So that $10,000, even though it was used for the future, it gave them a better location to put that out. I'm concerned about that it's a reflection on this board and myself that this is what we're supporting, and I do not support it, and I never will. I just think it's wrong. You can do whatever you want behind your bedroom doors or whatever you want to do, that's your choice. So I could go on and on, but I think.
Any other commissioners, any other comments? Okay.
Well, I'd like to say thank you to the health department and your team for having a presence there for the second year. It's not a new thing, and I appreciate that you're willing to meet our constituents, no matter who they are, what they believe, where they're at, and that includes people of color, whatever their religion is, And I think that if there are other groups that would like to participate, whether they're the Baptists or the Catholics or the atheists, if they feel like they need access from the health department at one of their events, I would totally support you and your team being there, and I appreciate what you guys are doing to support those who are maybe underserved or underrepresented.
Hey, Jeff, I did have a question for you.
Yes.
I talked to Liz today. She was kind enough to talk to me. The email chain that Joy Trello started, she sent me a picture of the billboard and some questions, and I made a comment, and then she got some information from Liz, and then that's where that information started at. And what I tried to look at was, first I looked at, okay, the billboard, it's certainly a health message component, no doubt there's a health message component, and in fairness, there's also a message regarding this festival. So it's blended, right? Now, a lot of stuff comes before the board. This ELC funding thing, I'm just going to real quickly clarify with our director. This is money that comes from the federal government under the CARES Act, correct? And it flows through the CDC and the United States Department of Public Health and Human Services down to the state Michigan Public Health Department, right? And then it comes down to you guys apply for grants. And I tried to get my head wrapped around, okay, you know, a lot of stuff comes before the board. We approve a lot of grants, a lot of applications, and they do all these things, and they have agreements and all that. So my perspective was, okay, where did the money come from? That was coronavirus money. That was the same money that Biden produced for ARPA and everything else. It's just a big pool of it, and it's a huge pool of it. It's still out there, and now it's changed from coronavirus to emerging threats and all that. Then it goes to the health department. So you applied for a grant, right?
It gets sent to us.
And you got it, you applied for it, and you
right.
got it, and we get it 1/12 a month, we get 1/12 of the grant money a month, and then our county administers, as they spend that money under their grant, we write the check, okay? So the question I had was, what was the parameters of this grant? I thought maybe we had it. Well, I discovered that the grant never came before the county. It's actually many years ago, it's actually been around for a long time, but they stopped coming before the board, and it's done electronically through the health department. So really, we don't have a copy of the grant, but the health department does. So my only suggestion was going to be, number one, that when we partner with things and put things out, you know, try and make the message informational and health related as much as possible, and avoid issues like what had come up perhaps with David or somebody. But the other piece was to get it straightened out as far as how these grants come forth. And I did look at Ingham County. I've got some paperwork to hand out to the commissioners to look at. The way it works is the staff recommends Ingham County that they apply for the grant. They follow that. The board votes, says, yeah, we'll apply for the grant. Once they get the grant, then the board chair signs off on these agreements. They're called find the name of it.
Cooperative.
It's a ridiculous name, Comprehensive Planning, Budgeting, and Contracting Agreement, right? So you signed one of those, right? And we have that. So you didn't sign it, she signed it. So I'm thinking to myself, are those funds even under the county board? But I think they are, because we write the check. So I just want to see, maybe have Gary look at it. Ingham County and Muskegon County, it's all done a little bit differently. So that was my only point, is maybe just get all that clarified, let people know this was federal money that came in under a certain grant that had certain criteria. You followed that, checked the box, got the money, spent the money, and then we can talk about perhaps. And I was honest with Liz. I said the grant is a tremendous amount of things that can be done for the doctor's laboratory, for public health, and for all kinds of things. And to spend $5 grand on a billboard as opposed to record retention, data, you know, I mean, that's not something that we do as a board. That's something our health board looks at, our doctors look at, and they look at. You know, that's how I approach it.
Okay. Anybody else?
Just one thing. Didn't mention it. I really appreciate your job you're doing. I thank you for being very responsive to the county commissioners, and I think your whole department, I think you're doing a fantastic job.
Thanks, I appreciate
On this
it.
issue, of course, I have an issue with
That's
it,
okay.
but
Okay,
so I
Joy?
brought it up. Thank you.
Sorry, I did start all of this.
You better say something, all
I'm
right?
sorry. I know, right? I'm thinking maybe I'll just stay out of it. No, thank you for responding to me. I did have people reach out, because it does have an appearance to kind of have, you know, ties to sexual orientation and stuff, and so people are concerned. And so, yes, looking at it through your eyes, I understand exactly what you guys are doing. I hope that it's evident to other people that if we're going to get billboards for one, we get billboards for others, you know, and not just for the Pride Festival. But I guess people also said, okay, we fund the health department, they have the ability to come there. If they are going to Blue Water Allies, then they have the ability to go there. So when you're sending staff, again, it's taxpayer funded, and then now they're like, we're obviously a third time around having taxpayer funds cover the same entity of people in a sense. So, but I just thank you for giving us an update. I do appreciate that, and I hope that if
you're
other
welcome.
people are looking and paying attention, but I do hope in the future that
Right, it gives a different perspective, like I said, right? That's why we're here, to talk and hear those perspectives, and I certainly don't want to be caught in a situation where we're not listening to everyone and everyone's perspective. So I do appreciate it, and just the respectful conversation is great.
Can I ask a question? Because I know that I did not get the email back and forth. I had a busy couple of weeks. But, so I know that you do billboards for the CMH.
We
Wouldn't
have in the
wouldn't it
past,
just
right.
be easy enough just to appear without advertising? Right? Because then, that's, to me, it just kind of like promotes a different lifestyle. And I mean, if that's your lifestyle, that's your lifestyle. But it almost seems it's just like an advertisement piece, and people are just like, why don't they just put up their booth and just show up, you know, and administer the vaccinations when they're requested? Why do we have to pay for the advertisement of it? And so I see it from their vision too. I understand where they're coming from as well. Because me personally, I don't think that I would support that either. But that's just me. So, but thank you for coming
Okay.
and giving an update.
We're going to move on. New business, item A.
12A, at this time, I move to approve county disbursements for the month of April 2024 in the amount of $15,072,511.76.
Support.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner Baldwin,
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden,
Yes.
Commissioner Trello,
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Vanden Bosch,
Yes.
Commissioner Smasko,
Yes.
Commissioner Chairperson Bowman.
Yes. Item B.
This time, I would move to approve the lease agreement with Jerry Property Management for office space located at 600 Fort Street for the St. Clair County Public Defender's Office for a term of 10 years, and the total amount of $1,709,946.00.
Support Baldwin.
That is paid for by the state too, correct, Carrie?
Yes, that's correct.
Roll call.
Commissioner Beeden,
Yes.
Commissioner Trello,
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Vanden Bosch.
Yes.
Commissioner Smasko,
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin,
Yes.
Commissioner Chairperson Bowman.
Yes. Item C.
Hey, Jeff, bring one question on that. Carrie, that's a blended thing that the state pays. Isn't there a formula on that? Like what we used to pay for public defense when they switched, we still pay some from the general fund, but the bulk of it from the state, or is that switched over now?
No, that's correct. There was what they called the local share, which was basically our contribution prior to the new standards.
So we would have some skin in the game, but the bulk of it comes from the state.
Right, any additional costs with complying with the standards, which includes the office space and the creation of a public defender's office, is all funded through the grant.
Thank you. Sorry, Jeff.
So item C.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to appoint the following individuals to the Emergency Management and Homeland Security Advisory Council. Can I just say the list below?
Is submitted.
It's as submitted.
Support.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed. Item D.
At this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2023 Homeland Security Operations Stone Garden Grant Agreement in the amount of $146,250. Support Baldwin.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed. Item E.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the Michigan Recovery Court grant application for year-end 2025 in the amount of $153,115.
Support.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed. Item F.
This time, I'd move item F to approve the agreement with Carpel 2024-GIS for interface programming for district court in the amount of $10,000.
Support, Baldwin.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner Torello?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Vandenbosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Smasko?
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Chairperson Ball?
Yes. Item G.
At this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve the purchase of tasers for the courthouse bailiffs from Axon in the amount of $63,697 over a 5-year period.
Support.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Vandenbosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Smasko?
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Torello?
Yes.
Commissioner Chairperson Ball?
Yes. Item H.
This time, I'd like to make a motion to approve the fiscal year 2025 Michigan Mental Health Court Grant application in the amount of $444,560.
Support.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Item I.
This time, I move to approve the following revisions to the Circuit Court Manning Table. There's 12 total positions, 10 different areas.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Item J.
This time, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agreement with OCV for the sheriff app in the amount of $27,975 and an annual maintenance cost of $11,985.
Support, Baldwin.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner Vandenbosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Smasko?
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Torello?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Chairperson Ball?
Yes. Item K.
At this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agreement with Fishbeck for engineering services for the North Channel County Park Phase 1 in the amount of $61,245. Thank you.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner Smasko?
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Torello?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Vandenbosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Chairperson Ball?
Yes. Item L.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agreement with St. Clair Lawn Care for landscape services at landfill for a total amount not to exceed $36,874.44 for a 3-year term.
Support.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Torello?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Vandenbosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Smasko?
Yes.
Commissioner Chairperson Ball?
Yes. Item M.
This time, I'd like to make a motion to approve the pre-qualified vendor list for landscape architectural services for Parks and Recreation as presented through 12/31/2025.
Support.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Item N.
This time I would move to, switch my page here. I'm sorry. Move to approve the extension of the purchase order with Pine Environmental for hydrogen sulfide meter through the date of 5/12/20, 5/15/24 for a total amount not to exceed $15,000.
Support, Baldwin.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Torello?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Vandenbosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Smasko?
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes.
Commissioner Chairperson Ball?
Yes. Item O.
This time, I move to approve the addition of a full-time network technician 1 position to the information technology manning table.
Support.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Item P.
This time, I make a motion to approve the District 5 American Rescue Act project with Kimball Township Fire Department for the purchase of radios in the amount of $50,862.84. Support.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner Torello?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Vandenbosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Smasko?
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Chairperson Ball?
Yes. Item Q.
At this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve the Commissioner District 4 American Rescue Act project with the City of Marysville for the Ravenswood Road Surface Transportation Project in the amount of $300,000.
Support.
I don't know where this is.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Vandenbosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Smasko?
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Torello?
Yes.
Commissioner Chairperson Ball?
Yes. Item R.
This time I move to approve Commission District 1 American Rescue Plan Act project for Road Commission for Grant and Greenwood Townships, ditching culvert replacement in the amount of $144,852.27.
Support.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner Vandenbosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Samasco?
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Trello?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Chairperson Bone.
Yes. Item S.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve Commissioner District 4 American Rescue Plan project with the City of Marysville for the construction of an amphitheater in the amount of $421,000.
Support.
Discussion. Just one quick comment on that. If you get a chance, go check it out. It's pretty cool down there. They redid the museum down there to the tune of about $1 million. 5-spot Airbnb. Next door, they do a lot of weddings. They've landscaped it really nice out back. New amphitheater. I think that's going to become like outdoor wedding central.
What funded that, Jeff? What were the funding sources for that?
That's private. Corey Egan, actually, the city of Marysville put some money in, but I just talked to Corey the other day. I think he's at like 1.2 million. He doesn't have ownership either, but he's got a long-term lease to be able to run it. But it gives you an opportunity now, wedding, do whatever. You can stay right next door. And then amphitheater, but just the way the whole park and stuff is laid out now. I mean, there's no reason you would have went to the Marysville, the amphitheater, you would have sneezed and it would have fell away. It wasn't very inviting. And it's really has really changed around there, man, big time. Roll call.
Commissioner Samasco?
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Trello?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Vandenbosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Chairperson Bone.
Yes. Item T.
At this time, I move to approve the Commission District 6 American Rescue Plan Act project with the Road Commission for road projects and ditching projects in the amount of $405,998.
Support.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Trello?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Vandenbosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Samasco?
Yes.
Commissioner Chairperson Bone.
Yes. Item U.
This time I'd like to make a motion to approve the revenue contract with the Road Commission for IT technician support in the amount of $50,000 annually.
Support.
Discussion.
Fighting over me.
I know.
Roll call.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Trello?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Vandenbosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Samasco?
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes.
Commissioner Chairperson Bone.
Yes. Item V.
This time, I move to approve the 2024 general fund budget adjustments as presented.
Support.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Item W.
This time I'd like to make a motion to approve Commissioner District 1 American Rescue Act project with Clyde Township in the amount of $85,042.20 for outdoor exercise equipment in their township park.
Support. Got it. We need a buzzer.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner Trello?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Vandenbosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Samasco?
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Chairperson Bone.
Yes.
Get some of those
X.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the District 3 American Rescue Plan project with Touchstone Services, Inc. for a practical assessment exploration system lab in the amount of $53,865.
Support. Beeden.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Vandenbosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Samasco?
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes.
Commissioner Beeden?
Yes.
Commissioner Trello?
Yes.
Commissioner Chairperson Bone.
Yes. Administrators report.
Yep, just a few things this evening. We have about 8 or 9 different projects that will be coming to you next month. All those are currently ARPA projects out for RFP. Most of those bids are due back within the next week. That includes the health department renovations, 2 roof projects, IT consultant, generator projects, HVAC upgrades, window upgrades, and office renovations. So, a lot coming to you next month. And just State of the County event happened last week, very well attended, and I know most of you were able to attend, but we had over 400 people in attendance.
And you did a fantastic job. You too.
I liked your. I
That's
liked
all
your-
this
your
evening.
Presentation to the.
All right.
You changed from the number thing to the visuals.
Yes.
I like that, it was good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Motion to receive and file administrator's report.
So moved, Baldwin.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Miscellaneous business. Normally, this is not the place where we do this, Linda. You usually have to put this in Citizens Washing to address the board, but I will let you get up there and speak. You got to get up at. That's fine. We'll let you do it.
Full 3 minutes?
That I agree with Commissioner Rushing, and I want to represent the people of Port Huron. I do not think that is a good idea at all, because it's offensive, and it's an abomination, and it's in the Bible that it's wrong. And I'm representing the Christians of Port Huron. We, the taxpayers, should not have to pay for such an abomination. It's a moral issue, it's not social, it's anti-God, anti-biblical, and I find it very offensive. And I don't like it crammed down my throat, just as some of you that are atheists or anti-God don't want that crammed down your throat, my belief. I don't like it crammed down mine either.
Okay, receive and file.
What's that?
I make a motion to receive and file.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.